All right. Here I'm starting off Arcturus backend, and it's going to spin up all the agents. It's going to initiate the backend servers and everything. But in this video, I'm going to do a focus on multi-channel interaction. So what that essentially means is pretty much inspired by OpenClaw. I'm going to show you how do I interact with various um, um, you know functionalities of this multi-agentic architecture called Arcturus, using web chat, using WhatsApp, Telegram, etc. So this is booting up right now, and you can see here that it's been initiated. Yeah, and the UI is up and running. There are various modules. I'm going to go to the apps module and I'll show you a quick demo of how the web chat looks like. And I click send. Here I've just sent a message to a multi-agentic workflow called Arcturus. So what I'm showing you right now is a web chat demo, so which is essentially the front end of Arcturus. I've just sent a message, and here I'm showing the logs of what's happening in the backend. As you can see, it's thinking um, right now, but in the backend, you can see that there is a complex process that's working, all of them working together. So, like web chat interface that's been developed specifically for Arcturus usage, and this is part of one of the applications that was built on. There are multiple other channels that are built. So, for example, what you're seeing right now is a pretty popular interface. It's WhatsApp, and this is exactly what I sent. How do I understand context management in agentic AI flows? So the moment I send it, it tries to understand, it sends the query to the planner and it does rest of the work. There is, of course, a lot of components in the backend which are helping um, all of this happen together. So it's literally browsing for the context that I searched for, and it's gathering all the information. And what's happening also in the backend is essentially a DAG, which is a directed acyclic graph that gets created as part of the planner agent, and it hands off the context to a lot of other agents. So that's essentially what is happening. Similar to this, we will also be demonstrating various other applications. Oh yeah, so the output is back here. You can see that here in this case, I want to show multi-device, and hence I'm showing the output here on the phone, and you can see that the output has been shared here, and this is what it has come back with. So it's a pretty elaborate document that I've requested for. And now moving on to Telegram. So I've already made a few chats, and hence you would see the prior communication chain. But I wanted to understand what's the latest news on Iran war. So I sent the same, and in the back end, you can see that it's pretty much a similar trigger that's being sent, and the agentic architecture is at work. So it's working, um, and then it's finally going to emit the output. I just want to call out that this is only one single part of um, a massive orchestration that's happening. There's only a single section that I got to work on as part of um, the Arcturus project. But there are various other streams which many people have contributed to, and but this is where the I/O really comes into play, which is input output. So that almost concludes the Telegram demo. You can see that the output is also here. Yeah, it does have a few um, characters, escape characters, and so on that needs fixing. But yeah, ultimately, this is how it comes out. Moving on to Slack. Um, So here a similar thing is being done. I've asked a question, and one thing to call out is that it does capture history. So if I send a message on top of an existing question that I've already requested an answer to, it does that. It actually understands the previous context, because there are various number of turns that you can choose up to, and it answers to that specific context. So while this is running, yeah, I think this is done. The thinker agent is also done. So here the question is about a company called Shipped. So just trying to fetch all the information I can. I think yeah, the output is here, and you can see that it was able to provide decently concrete information that is needed. Now moving on to matrix, again a similar question is being asked here. This is on Iran war, and in case of matrix, we do understand that the system is generally meant for end-to-end encryption, but in this case end-to-end encryption is causing a bit of a trouble, so I had to invite the bot to an unencrypted channel. So that's what you're seeing, and hence the message. In the past I've asked a few silly questions as well, as you can see. Yeah, it's still searching as per the graph that's been designed, as per the agentic flow that's been designed. Also, just to call out that the flow is very dynamic. When I say dynamic, um, it it understands the context, it distills the information that is needed, decomposes the user's question, and then provides a proper handoff to each of the agent, while at the same time watching um, the entire run. So planner agent will always have um, a monitoring role to play. So it can see whether it is deviating, or if the results are not up to the mark, um, it'll actually pivot. And I'm using Gemini 2.5 Flash Lite, which is a very light model, and it costs you almost nothing. So that's why the response time is slightly higher, because it has to do a lot of thinking. Yeah, and this concludes matrix testing as well. Now moving on to the last channel, which is Discord. And Discord is also a pretty popular channel, as we all know. So here I'm asking a question about the latest facelift of Kushak of 2026, and you can see that the run looks almost the same in the backend, of course. And you can see that the history is enabled, and there are 9 turns of history. So what it means is it does send all the previous conversations as well into it for more and more context. Okay, it has already reached distiller agent. It has retrieved all the information. Now it's going to filter down the information, and maybe depending on whatever technical depth that it needs, it may have to trigger the retrieval once again as per the plan. So this is the last and sixth channel that's been integrated. There were a few more channels to be integrated, but due to a few security constraints, although the source code is present, is available, it's not made to be tested yet. So yeah, the output is here, you can see, and this concludes the overall demo and testing. Thank you.